Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to another edition of the dceu Daily. Don't forget, you can tag me and follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. All opinions are welcome as long as you respect and constructively talk to me about my opinions, even if you don't agree with me. So that's Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Why Zack Snyder should write and direct Wonder Woman 3. Now, there's no question about it that Wonder Woman 2017 was Zack Snyder's child. His VFX team was there. He brought in everyone, the director, the writer, everyone who was involved was because Zack Snyder brought them there. Now, they did originally bring Michelle McLaren in, but her vision, well, let's just say there was a difference of opinion. Now, I don't know if the difference of opinion was between Michelle and Zack. We'll never know that, or if it was between the studio and Michelle. And maybe Michelle and Zack were on board together, but maybe she was the sacrifice that had to be made because Snyder wasn't going to go anywhere. He was running the DC Extended Universe at the time. So he brought in Patty Jenkins. Now, there's no question about it from looking at Wonder Woman 1984 that that's Patty Jenkins' idea of the ultimate Wonder Woman movie and what Wonder Woman should be about. Now, although I believe Wonder Woman 2017 is the vision of Zack Snyder, there's no question about it that Patty did win certain arguments. She wanted Wonder Woman to be an inspirational character, a character of love, choosing love over hate. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it worked for the piece, for the first film. Now, Wonder Woman 84 has had so many criticisms. It's unbelievable. I don't believe Wonder Woman 84 is trash. I don't believe it's the worst film ever. But the motivations of the characters have to be questioned. How she brought Steve Trevor back has to be questioned. And the pacing of the film has to be questioned. There's no question about it. Wonder Woman 2017 is simply the way Zack likes to tell his superhero movies. Now, Zack was promoting Wonder Woman 1984 because he wanted to play the game. He wanted his movie promoted. Some people may argue that his movie's not really being promoted by the studio. It's certainly kind of being promoted by HBO Max, but mostly Zack's doing the marketing. But as I've said before, look at the job we're doing alongside Zack. We're doing a good job, aren't we, to promote his Justice League movie? So I'm not really concerned about that. But there's a lot of valid reasons. Without me, this is not a video where I'm going to hate on Patty Jenkins. I don't hate Patty Jenkins. She's obviously a kind of solid enough director, but she co-wrote and she directed Wonder Woman 1984. And let's just say many people who keep on complaining that they want to see brighter, more inspirational superhero movies weren't exactly happy with that result. And so what are her plans for Wonder Woman 3 and what are her plans for the Amazonian spin-off that's apparently going to be a movie, and where that's going to be shown, we just don't know. And of course, she's obviously doing the Star Wars movie as well. So that's a big coup. She was teasing a big name writer for that film. I suspect it's George Lucas. We'll have to wait and see about that. But there's many reasons why Zack Snyder should take over from Patty Jenkins and write and direct Wonder Woman 3. Now, there will be a split from the public if this happened. Some people would say, oh my God, not Snyder. But if you like Wonder Woman 2017, you would love what he would do with Wonder Woman 3. And there's a very interesting situation happening here with Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. Because if people prefer how she's displayed in his Justice League movie, there could be a new kind of call for him to do the next Wonder Woman sequel as well. Lots of things right now with the DC Extended Universe are up in the air. And I have been told that filming for Flashpoint has started as well. Very, very exciting. And obviously that's gone under the water because of the hype over Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. But I am excited about that. I'm not sure if Christina Hodgson should have been the one to write the screenplay, but it is her screenplay, and we're going to have to see what kind of movie that is. but it is a movie that's going to change everything. And it is the movie that's going to implement this multiverse strategy that at least gives Snyder a shot at getting his own corner of the DC live-action universe. Now, after BVS, there's no question about it. Warner Brothers Pictures, who were running things while Time Warner were, had complete control over the studio and company, certainly were running things. And if it was up to WB Pictures, Zack wouldn't do another DC movie again. But as I explained yesterday, it's not up to WB Pictures. They have very little power in the overall control. Now, it is true that Toby Emmerich does control a lot of things, but Snyder's future isn't one of them. That is Stanky's remit. There's no question about that. But going back to Wonder Woman 3, there's lots of valid reasons why Zack should do it and Patty shouldn't. And I mean, if this comes to pass, and of course there's no signals out there that Zack's going to do Wonder Woman 3. The plan is right now for Patty to do Wonder Woman 3 and the Amazonian spin-off. But I just think there's a lot of the situation with Wonder Woman 84 is, I think, was really, really bad. There were so many mistakes made in that film. Critics have pulled that film to pieces. Now, a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. critics, before we saw the movie and their reactions to it, where it's brilliant, it's the right film for the right time. We needed this film. And I've always stood by the third act is really inspirational, and I have tears and everything, and it works, but the whole film doesn't. You kind of make excuses for the rest of the film because you like that third act and what happens, but ultimately the film doesn't make much narrative sense, and that's part of the problem with it. And so most people will stand up and say that if you had a gun to their head, what film did you prefer? Wonder Woman 2017 or Wonder Woman 1984, they would say Wonder Woman 2017. Wonder Woman 2017 is a film you can watch again and again and again, and Wonder Woman 1984 simply isn't. Even obsessive Patty Jenkins fans will admit, and they've admitted to me, but they've made me promise that I don't go on my channel and on Twitter and, quote them on this, that they were very disappointed, even though publicly on social media they said they loved it, it was great, blah, blah, blah. But they admitted to me that they were underwhelmed by the movie and they do prefer Wonder Woman 2017. So here are the facts. If this is a trial, right, the facts are these. Wonder Woman 2017 had Zack Snyder's VFX team. It had his writer. The writer for the film was brought in by Zack Snyder, as I've already said. So really, it really is more of a Zack Snyder film than a Patty Jenkins film. She was the episode director, as I've already said, but the vision for that movie, the way it looked, the storytelling, everything was down to Zack, with Patty winning, as I've already said, a few battles. So there's no question about it. Whatever anyone thinks about Snyder, if you got people off the record, and I'm talking about high-profile people at WB, in terms of Wonder Woman 2017 compared to Wonder Woman 1984, Wonder Woman 2017 is the better movie, and the only criticism is the third act. Personally, I loved it, but a lot of people didn't. And that's something that can be worked upon, right? But the point being here is that Zack Snyder has a great vision for Wonder Woman. Is there anyone? I'm losing my voice again. It's because I do my videos in the morning and I've got my morning throat. I do apologise. But here's the thing. Did any critic who slaughtered BVS hate Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman in BVS? They may have said she was squeezed in the film. I don't agree. I thought the role she played was brilliant and it really worked, especially in the interactions with Batfleck. But did anyone hate the way she looked, right? No. She looked great. Some people complained that her suit was too dark. All Snyder's superhero costumes are more lighter than bright. That's just the way he does it. He has dark reds and dark blues, and that's what Snyder does. That's the way he makes his films. It's just a little bit different. But his films are beautiful, and the stories he's telling are turning these DC characters into gladiators. Again, nothing wrong with that. And I think once people have seen this 4-hour classic, Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut, the minds are going to be changing very slowly. Already, the normies are changing their minds just from that trailer. And so this is very important. So right now, I think if you ask people who should write and direct Wonder Woman 3, I think it would be 50-50 or maybe even 70-50 in Patty Jenkins' favour. But I think afterwards, I think Zack Snyder would get the vote from the public. I think she's on very shaky ground. It was very suspicious how Toby Emmerich really quickly announced Wonder Woman 3. It was like they wanted to show that they had confidence in her and they weren't disappointed by the film. But the director said herself that they were not happy with the mouse sequence. They even wanted to cut out the Amazon sequence. I think it's not because they didn't want to see a footage from the Amazons. I think one of the things was, what relevance did the Amazon sequence have apart from showing us the Amazons? Because everybody wants to see more and more of the Amazons. This is why we're getting an Amazonian spin-off. I think this is interesting because I think a balance could be struck here. And the balance that could be struck very cleverly could be that Patty does the Amazonian spin-off and Zack does Wonder Woman 3. Now, Wonder Woman is really important to the WB bottom line, and she's definitely more under Toby Emmerich's remit than anybody else's, because the decision was taken because Aquaman and Wonder Woman are the most popular first movies in the DCEU, and they wanted to keep those characters centralized. So Zack Snyder getting his hands on a Wonder Woman 3 is interesting. You may get a situation, though, where Wonder Woman 3 is pushed back, maybe for Zack to do it, because I think what Zack will be doing next is a kind of Man of Steel sequel, the next Man of Steel kind of story, the story that Henry wants to tell as well. You know, because Henry's very vocal on set. He cares about Superman. He's a geek and a nerd, just like, you know, me and you. And so don't forget Henry Cavill's part in this. And he's been very upset and hurt the way he's been treated. And he doesn't necessarily like the way Superman was displayed in BVS, but he loves how he was displayed in Man of Steel. And so it's a balancing act for Henry. I would definitely say that in Man of Steel, Henry's Superman was more smiley. He was more of the Superman we knew from past kind of iterations in comics and movies and TV shows. And in the sequel, because BVS is a Man of Steel sequel, there's no question about it, there's a more somber story being told about Superman. He's not being accepted by everyone. He's being accused of killing a bunch of innocent people. So Henry's performance is more of a somber one, and he does a fantastic job at that. I don't think there's anything wrong. The middle episode of a saga should always be the darker, brooding one. Anyway, we saw that with Empire Strikes Back, but that film still had its gags. That film kind of rode on the balance, where Snyder took complete control of the DC Extended Universe with BVS, and he did his thing with it. I think that film works as the middle kind of Dark Knight, Empire Strikes Back kind of movie. I don't have an issue with it. I understand why Henry, as a geek and someone who's well read in Superman, and because of the reaction from the public and critics, that maybe he wants to do something a little bit different. But I certainly think that Snyder and Cavill can come to some arrangement, because they've worked together before, and Cavill wouldn't have come on that Man of Steel streaming party if he had an issue with Snyder or his vision. There's certainly, I think that Cavill understands if anyone can make Superman great, it's Zack Snyder. So I expect that to be the next project, with J.J. Abrams picking his own Superman. And I believe we may get kind of a Hispanic, Mexican kind of actor getting that role. I think I'll read you an article about J.J. Abrams' casting process for John Constantine as well. And apparently a person of colour, someone a little bit darker from a minority background may get the role of John Constantine. And I will give you my opinion on that as well. So I definitely think that Cavill won't be Abrams' Superman. So as I said, from the moment Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut was announced, that Henry Cavill's Superman will be in Snyder's remit. Now, publicly, Snyder said no decisions have been made about his future, and he thinks it's unlikely he will do more Justice League. But Snyder's saying things to get reactions and responses from the public. I forgot to mention this yesterday when I read that King Arthur article, right? Already Grace Randolph saying it's going to be more of a sci-fi kind of King Arthur. I don't know if Zach's discussed it with her, but listen, he's not actually actively developing King Arthur. It's just something he's thinking about, right? He's put it out there again, saying to Warner Media, if you don't pin me down now, I'm going to do other projects and I'm gone. He's playing a game and he wants us to play this game with him. And I'm quite happy to do that. But we don't want Zack to slip away from DC's fingers, and we want an announcement about his future before the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. But I absolutely feel that Zack would be perfect for Wonder Woman 3, and I think he should do it. I've given you my reasons. Simply, the vision of Patty Jenkins is not to my liking. Wonder Woman is such an important character. And it's all very well Patty going, she's about love, she's about compassion. Actually, Patty, she is about those things, but she's also a brute. She's also a gladiator. It's interesting because if only Zack and Patty could compromise their visions together, you would get the accurate depiction of Wonder Woman from the comics. Because although she's a bright soul and she's compassionate and she loves, like we saw, I think that was depicted better in Wonder Woman 2017 than more than in Wonder Woman 1984, because you've got kind of both ideals in Wonder Woman 2017, where you do see this loving, compassionate woman, but she's also willing to kill. We see what she does to the German lieutenant or whoever he was, right? She kills him because she thinks he's Ares. So she is capable of killing, and she does kill quite a lot in the comics, but she's also a compassionate heroine as well. So what they did, they amalgamated both kind of visions of the character, because Wonder Woman is neither just a bright soul or just a killer. She's basically a compassionate gladiator. Snyder understands this, but Jenkins wants to take her the other way. Jenkins is a lot more political about Wonder Woman, where Snyder is trying to do his thing, like he did with Superman, like he did with Batman. This is why Aquaman's costume is the way it is. This is how Zack does his costumes, right? Now, I don't know if James Wan or Warner Brothers or John said we want an accurate depiction of Aquaman's costume. I think it kind of did change. I don't know if Snyder would have done the comic book accurate costume as they did. I love it and he looks great in it and I don't have a problem with it, but I'm wondering if Snyder's costume would have been a bit darker. We will never know. I can't remember exactly what he's wearing in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Again, I have to go back to the trailer for that. So is it out of the question in the real world for Zack Snyder to write and direct Wonder Woman 3? I don't think so. I think people are starting to get what Snyder was doing with his DC Extended Universe. I think now people are saying, not everyone, I've seen so much hate from blue ticks, right? But forget them. Enjoy Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. Keep the trends up. Keep watching the trailers over on YouTube and other social media platforms. Keep it going. We're doing a great job for Zack. But it's not just about us. I think the mainstream audience, the public, are starting to understand. If only we gave this vision a chance. Look at his Justice League trailer and look at the shit that we got. And so I think after Zack Snyder's Justice League, things are going to change around the DC Extended Universe. Now, Flashpoint is a thing. There's no pulling back from Flashpoint now. It's going to happen. They've started filming. That film is going to change the entirety of the DC live action universe. Is it going to be a good film? Is it, if that film works and they succeed with the mainstream audience of pretty much changing everything and introducing the multiverse and breaking the walls down of the multiverse, that's a very exciting thing for me and all DC fans. And as I say, with the multiverse coming out there, it means Zack can have his little playpen to play in over on HBO Max, which is the future anyway. It's the future of how you're going to watch DC anyway. But I believe his vision will be more and more popular, and maybe even the central universes won't be as popular. But I don't know. I don't know what J.J. Abrams' plan is, and we don't really know, apart from one trailer, what Matt Reeves' the Batman is, but we know that Matt Reeves is a visionary like Zack, and in fact, James Gunn's saying it's the DC movie he's really looking forward to. Of course, he's never going to say Zack Snyder's Justice League, is he? Even though he's worked with Zack before, he doesn't seem vocally, publicly that supportive of Zack, but he hasn't said anything against Zack either. He keeps his own counsel and things like that, and I think James is right to do so. You don't want to antagonise the public when you're working on DC Comics live action projects, right? And so it's very, very interesting what's going on, because, yeah, we are getting Flashpoint, which opens everything up, but if Zack Snyder's Justice League explodes the way I think and people start coming to the party, how are DC and Warner Brothers going to be looking at this? I think the best future for everyone is if we get a centralized mainstream universe, which is a bit more brighter and inspirational, and we also get Snyder doing his thing. Now, obviously, the more Snyder does things and the more popular what he does gets, obviously, there may be a revision of the vision with Flashpoint. But I actually would like to see the multiverse succeed. I would like to see Flashpoint succeed for Ezra, for everyone, really, just so we can have so many different visions and ideas and different voices and hands and eyes making these DC movies and, you know, adapting these DC characters. That's the better idea. You don't really want a situation where it's only James Gunn running things, or Matt Reeves, or even Zack. I love what Zack does with these DC characters, but I think if you have a variety of visionaries doing these things, don't forget, you know, you look at Marvel, but look at what we've got. We've got Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, Zack Snyder, James Gunn. That's really special and something to be proud of. And I think with these different voices, DC have a great future. And I don't think it's out of the question that Zack Snyder writes and directs Wonder Woman 3 and Patty does the Amazonian spin-off, and they can just give her the excuse of the Star Wars movie that she can't do both. So, but none of this is going to be decided right now. I wish it would. But I think it's all about how, not only the amount of money Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut makes, but the response from the public is going to be really important. Not the media, not the critics, but the mainstream audience might start to embrace Zack Snyder's vision. And if that happens, my friends, Zack Snyder's DC Universe fans like you and me would have won bigger than we ever thought. Staying on the subject of Zack Snyder, which I love to do on this channel, by the way, Zack Snyder still wants to see Affleck's Batman take on Manganiello's Deathstroke. Justice League director Zack Snyder still holding out hope that Ben Affleck's Batman will still fight Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke on the screen by Anna Damarug. I think that's your name. I'm sorry if it's not. Zack Snyder is still hopeful that somehow Ben Affleck's Batman will still face off with Joe Manganiello on the screen. The arch nemesis was supposed to fight each other in the plan The Batman Standalone, but once that project was scrapped, that possibility also went down the drain. Now, the film has been repurposed with Robert Pattinson in the lead, while Matt Reeves directs. Unlike the original iteration, this one, however, is not in any way connected to the DCEU. This is an Earth 2. This is a DC Earth 2 movie. Let's not forget that. That's pretty exciting. Once Affleck was confirmed to have left Warner Brothers' superhero franchise, the general assumption was that he was totally done with the role. But that's not the case, as per recent developments within the DCEU, the actor did additional filming for Snyder's Justice League, which is set to release next month via HBO Max. Aside from that, he's also reprising his role as Batman through the Flash film, which is strongly rumoured to feature multiple iterations of the Bat of Gotham and all other DC characters as well. That's why Flashpoint is exciting for me. Snyder is taking Affleck's involvement in the DC Speedster standalone film as an indication that there's still hope that his version of Batman could face Manganiello's Deathstroke, or if only. During his recent guesting on the I, Minutemen via comic book, the filmmaker revealed that despite the circumstances, it's something that he continues to be invested in. This is what Zack had to say. I don't know what he had to say, so Let's find out together. This is actually quite exciting. I love Joe. He's great. I really would love to see those two go at it. That would be fun. Who knows, question mark. We know that Ben's going to be in the Flash movie, which is nice to see him back as Batman. It's trickling down. It's nice. This is a very important statement from Zack Snyder. This is a man. Now, he may not be in on what's going on in Flashpoint. He's not part of that production, but he knows. He talks to Ben. Him and Ben have got a good relationship. We know that, right? So it looks like that Ben Affleck's The Batman is something that, because I'm just judging, he doesn't discount anything here. He seems pretty sure. Listen to what he says. The Flash movie, which is nice to see him back as Batman. It's trickling down. It's nice. Interesting. It's trickling down. It's nice. This is not, I can't see it happening like the Justice League movie. He's playing it a lot more coy with his future. But when he talks about Ben's future, it's different because it's not his own. And he can be a bit more vocal. Now, he's not blatantly saying, definitely. But he sounds really positive that Ben and Manganiello's Deathstroke will face off in the Batman, whatever it's going to be. So it's clearly something that's going to be on HBO Max. It's clearly that's something that could be a series or kind of one movie or something like that. Whatever it is, it's sounding very positive. Because once Affleck left, we all thought there was no hope. Then all of a sudden, things changed. The course changed. And Ben seems to be happy playing Batman again. And one of those reasons is you and me. Or is it me and you, right? That we have sent out via social media so much love for Ben's iteration of Batman. He feels loved and accepted. And actors love acceptance. Nobody wants to be hated. Nobody wants to be reviled. And I don't think he understood. When he announced he wasn't Batman anymore, people were heartbroken. Anyway, we go on with the article. Originally in the post-credit scene of Justice League, which debuted Slade Wilson, was supposed to set up Affleck's The Batman. But after Snyder left the project due to a family tragedy, that all was reshot, with Lex Luthor's line hinting towards the arrival of the Injustice League instead. Something that also hasn't panned out until now. With Snyder having the opportunity to release the so-called Snyder Cut of the film, which features his intended story and then a few other additions such as involvement of Jared Leto's Joker, it's curious if the stinger will also be different. As someone who benefited from fan movements through the release of the Snyder Cut movement, Snyder knows full well that almost anything is plausible if there's enough clamour for it. So while there are currently no plans for Justice League 2 directed by him, he understands that Affleck's Batman and Manganiello's Deathstroke facing each other is not out of the realm of possibility. That if many share his sentiments about them being on screen together, since both actors are in Snyder's Justice League, perhaps he went out of his way to tease this scenario to help convince the public that it's actually a good idea. Yes, well, I said before, Heath, look, I said on Twitter today or yesterday, Zack Snyder isn't just a nice, smiley, gentle, compassionate man. He's all those things. He isn't just a visionary artist. He's the smartest person in the room. If he wasn't, we would not be getting Zack Snyder's Justice League. I read somewhere, I don't know where the article was, and I can't find it now, but apparently Warner Brothers wanted to release Zack Snyder's Justice League unfinished. Sorry, I wouldn't have watched it. If I want to watch an unfinished piece of shit, I'll watch Justice League, right? Not that anything that Zack's had to do with is a piece of shit, but you know what I mean. We fought for Zack's complete vision. Now, thankfully, common sense was kind of received, but what I think happened was WB, when they were discussing after they saw the event we had in November 2019, said, well, how about releasing it unfinished? And Zack probably said, fuck off, like I would have said, so well done, Zack. So thanks to Zack, thanks to all of us, we're getting Zack Snyder's Justice League, the ultimate original vision, beyond the ultimate original vision of Zack Snyder. And Zack seems very confident here, in not so many words, that we could get that Batfleck, the Batman that we should have always got. And if we get that, anything is possible. But of course, they could kill Batfleck off in the Batman story. That could be it. Who knows? But then there's prequel stories you can tell, but we will see. But the script that, the stuff that Manganiello's been telling us and everyone's been telling us about Affleck's The Batman, it seems really brutal, it seems compelling, and it's something I would love to see. It's interesting, HBO Max were talking about the Game of Thrones prequel or something like that, and they said about a certain project, it's all about fan reaction, what we do and what we don't do. Remember that, everyone. Warner Media now is looking at us to tell them what we want and don't want. Extremely important for the future of the DC cinematic universe, the DC live action universe, the DC everything. When I bought Logan a few years back, I discovered, and I've discussed this before on the channel, a black and white noir version. And I was like, do I really want to watch this? I was so surprised when I saw how great it was. And Zack Snyder is doing a similar thing with Zack Snyder's Justice League, but because he's such a marketing guru, he's calling it Justice League Grey. And Screen Rant have some information about that version of the movie. This is by Dusty Stowe. Isn't it great, Dusty, that you've got a surname I can read? Not that I can read very much anyway. Justice League Snyder Cut black and white version gets official title. Zack Snyder is creating a fully black and white version of his cut of Justice League. Though it's unclear when and where that version will debut, this could be a cinematic release. That would be a clever way of doing it. Something different for the public to go and see. And this could save movie theatres as well. Very interesting. Zack Snyder is creating a fully black and white version of his cut of Justice League. Though it's unclear when and where that version will debut, Justice League has had one of the stranger journeys of any modern film. After the polarizing reaction to 2016's Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, Warner Brothers began to rethink their DC Comics film plans. Midway through production of Justice League, Snyder left the production to deal with a family tragedy. Still, the common consensus seems to be he and the studio were headed for a breakup after the film anyway. Avengers director Joss Whedon was brought in by the studio to finish the film, and the resulting movie made essentially no one happy. A lumpy mishmash of the two directors' very different styles that felt nothing like the DCEU films that had come before. For better or worse, after a massive years-long social media campaign by a devoted and occasionally obsessive fan base, oh my God, all fans are obsessive. Are you trying to be a bit? Oh dear. HBO Max decided to bring Snyder into to finish his version of the film, complete with an 8-figure budget and important reshoots. Snyder is now confirming another of his pet projects for the Justice League will likely see the light of day, as he confirmed there will be a black and white version of his Justice League. In an interview with Minutemen, which he calls the Justice's Grey version, he said, "We're finishing right now the black and white version of Justice League. It's called the Justice is Grey edition. That's what I'll call it." Wow! I mean, marketing guru or what? You're complaining that WB ain't marketing Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. We don't need him. We got Zack. It's unclear when and where this black and white version will debut. Snyder has said his ideal version of the cut will be in black and white in IMAX theatres, but the pandemic has put the kibosh on any extensive theatrical showings for the foreseeable future. If the full colour version of Justice League turns out to be a hit for HBO Max, it wouldn't be shocking to see the streamer take on the black and white version as well, or they could wait till movie theatres are open. It'll be something to look forward to. As we've already seen the film, we can be patient with the noir version, can't we? So that could be a good idea. Zack Snyder's Justice League is in a highly unusual position. As of this moment, it's not considered part of the actual DC Extended Universe. That would still seem to be Whedon's little-loved film. No, Whedon's, even Patty Jenkins said, not even his film's canon. Sources at Warner Bros. Have described the Snyder Cut as narrative dead end, suggesting something irrevocable could happen in the 4-hour superhero extravaganza. Regardless, the hype around the Snyder Cut is real, with the latest trailer breaking viewership records and the film dominating commentary on social media. Even if it doesn't end up being part of the DC's film strategy going forward, Snyder seems eager to give fans everything they could possibly want before closing the book on his version of the DC heroes. No book's being closed. No book is being closed. on my watch, and I look forward to seeing this edition. It's gonna be epic. In other news, away from Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut and the man himself, new Constantine HBO Max show will reportedly recast the character. Beloved DC Comics character John Constantine is reportedly being recast for a new series on HBO Max from J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Productions by Rick Stevenson. A new Constantine series is reportedly in works at HBO Max from J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Productions, which will recast the iconic role of DC's Hellblazer, John Constantine. Has most recently been played by Matt Ryan, who's been absolutely fantastic as Constantine, my favourite live-action Constantine to date, and he does animation as well. On NBC's short-lived Constantine show, and subsequently on the Arrowverse Legends of Tomorrow. Prior to Ryan's television portrayal, the beloved character was played by Keanu Reeves in the 2005 directed film by Francis Lawrence. One of DC's odd comic characters, John Constantine, was first introduced in 1985 and was given his own series in 1988. The character draws equal inspiration from smoky noir detective fiction and dark occult fantasy, and Constantine has remained a unique and adored piece of DC lore for decades. As the original rigid DCEU model has given way to a less centralized structure, many fans have crossed their fingers for more mainline cinematic Constantine content to come. It's important to understand, though, apart from this, and Ryan, will still be playing Constantine in Arrowverse. I've heard that the Constantine sequel starring Keanu Reeves is actually a thing that's happening, so we're going to have multiple versions of this character. So I'm really happy about that. Those wishes might be getting granted, as a new report from the Illuminati claims Warner Brothers and Bad Robot are developing a new Constantine series for HBO Max. The report claims that Warner is looking to recast the role of Constantine with a young actor of colour, citing Riz Ahmed as the kind of star they're looking for. The Illuminati's report fits with a 2020 rumour that J.J. Abrams has signed on to develop a Constantine film for Warner Brothers. If the new claims are true, it seems the theatrical project has been adapted as a streaming series instead. Right, listen to me. This is what's happening. I don't think there's actually a Constantine series in development from Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams. I think they're casting one for their Justice League Dark series. This is what this is all about, but they're not saying that. So it's not about Constantine getting his own series. Maybe he will eventually. I think this is about the casting of him in Justice League Dark, and maybe that will spin off for his own series later on, and I think that's what's going on here. Constantine remains one of DC's most popular characters, so the idea of a major new series should be exciting for the fans. Keanu Reeves' 2005 Constantine movie remains something of a cult classic, and Matt Ryan's recent turn in the role has been highly praised as well. The character has yet to find widespread success outside of a more dedicated comics fan base, but a major platform on HBO Max could launch the next iteration of the Hellblazer to a larger viewership. There's also the potential that the new Constantine show could be tied to past rumours of a Justice League Dark series. That's what I'm talking about. At HBO Max. A Swamp Thing show aired on DC Universe in 2019 to critical acclaim, but was cancelled shortly after its premiere. A new Constantine project could signal a Swamp Thing revival on HBO Max, with both characters possibly coming together for a future Justice League Dark adaptation. Wouldn't that be awesome? It remains to be seen if the new Constantine reports hold true, but if they do, DC fans have plenty of reason to get excited. And I'm absolutely excited. To have 3 different live-action versions of John Constantine would be amazing. One in Arrowverse, Keanu Reeves coming back with his version, and this new version from J.J. Abrams as well. I can only welcome this and look forward to this. Look at this baby, everyone. Superman 78 and Batman 1989 are getting a comic book run. The stories of Kidder's and Reeves' Superman will continue in comic book form, as will Tim Burton's and Michael Keaton's Batman. This is very, very exciting. Now, this could tie up with the multiverse strategy that they're working on over at DC Live Action. And with Flashpoint starting production and filming now, this is very interesting. Now, we know that Christopher Reeve's Superman was played by Brandon Routh in Superman Returns, and he reprised that role in Crisis on Infinite Earths. So this could link in to what's going on Flashpoint, which is very, very exciting. So if anything happens with that, I shall let you know. But I love this, and it's an awesome idea. Finally today, something very exciting happened a day or so ago, and I forgot to mention it on yesterday's edition of the DCEU Daily. One of the Junkie XL's tracks from Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut was released. It's called The Crew at War Power, and they've actually taken it off YouTube Music now for copyright reasons, which is a shame. I hate these fucking companies with their copyright laws. Just, you've released it, let us have a listen. I can't find it on Spotify, but it is so great. It's a really great tune, and I'm not sure what's the kind of Justice League theme in this. Is it from this one, or is it from the one we got from the trailer? I really like the one from the trailer. The music for that trailer makes the trailer even more epic than it already is. But Junkie XL is one of the world's greatest composers. You know, trained and worked with Hans Zimmer, the greatest composer in the world. And Zack Snyder only works with the best, whether it's a composer, whether it's a VFX. Weta getting lots of praise from Zack, and Zack's VFX teams are always the best. And how Patty Jenkins, with a straight face, thought it would be right to get rid of that VFX team doesn't really make sense. And she has had criticism for the VFX quality in Wonder Woman 1984. I'm not convinced she's going to do Wonder Woman 3, by the way, and I still hold hope for Zack Snyder taking over that movie. We will see. Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to change everything, and how Warner Brothers and Warner Media and Stanky are thinking about Zack's future with the DC live-action universe. That's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's DCEU Daily. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. Should I say that again? And I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. And come and say hi over on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. I'll see you there, or I'll see you here tomorrow for more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.